There's inherent invisible cycles in everything. There's the long-term human cycle, life as we know it, but there's also small cycles that apply in everyday life. One of the more interesting cycles out there is a creative cycle. The creative process and the reward, to be more specific. Reward in creativity is extremely important and is the reason why we keep coming back for more. Hi, welcome back. My name is Jorge and today we're going to be talking about the reward in creativity and why do I print my photos. When you search online for the creative cycle, there's lots of examples and lots of different images, but I want to simplify it a bit by saying what it really is. It's the cycle to keep you engaged doing any sort of creative endeavor. In this case, filmmaking, photography, music, writing, etc. I spent about 14 months traveling and just dedicating myself to street photography and enjoying the process. So I can give you a couple examples here and there and why it was important to me and how I realized what my cycle was and how maybe you can figure out yours. So you want to travel and you want to do photography, you go to a city like Tokyo and spend 5 hours walking, searching for the perfect shot. You put a lot of effort and energy into it. You take maybe 300 shots, 400 shots. You go home and realize that maybe 10 are okay, 5 are not too bad, but that one photo is pretty good. You edit it, you see the results, you want to do the cycle again. We can see that in pretty much everything, not only creative work. In this case, it's up to you to control and to manage what cycle you want to be engaged on and how long you want to stay in that cycle. So what was the cycle for me before I decided to print my photos? Well, pretty much very similar. I decided I wanted to do something. I went to the location, I spent the time, I took the photos, I came home, I found that one photo that is magic. You know, you dump your footage, you put it on your iPad, you edit it, and then you have an end result. You have it right here on a physical device, a tangible example of your hard work. Except it's a tablet. You edited your file, it's there on your iPad or your computer. You can put it on Instagram, you can put it on your website, but to me it didn't feel as tangible. I wanted to go an extra step. So I started printing some of the photos, small prints. Basic quality, really cheap stuff, Costco, Walmart, etc., just to see what it looked like. Then I started to doing better prints and more expensive prints, better paper, canvas, things like that. And that's great, especially when there are larger prints as well, but you don't have the flexibility of carrying that with you. And that's when I started thinking about my year summary in Japan. How can I encompass all my experiences and all my photos into one location? And a photo book was just one of the things that I immediately thought about. I never done it before. We're gonna walk through the process of creating a photo book right now. Mind you, we are editing with a calibrated computer here, but at the same time, there's always difference between physical prints and digital files, so we'll see what we can get. But before jumping into Lightroom, I like to talk about my process with street photography. As I mentioned in the previous video, I love cinema. I went to film school and I have worked in the film industry since 2013. Cinema really informs my style and the choices that I make regarding my photos. One of my favorite living directors is Alfonso Cuarón. His style is very noticeable and unique. Character versus environment. When I'm out and about exploring and taking photographs, I try to block the scene, the same way I would block a scene as a director, and I try to make a tiny sequence. Obviously, it's easier to do in motion pictures, so I came to the conclusion that at the very least I need 2 photographs to make a tiny scene. A long shot, also known as a wide shot, and a more close shot. Could be a cowboy shot, a medium close-up, or sometimes even extreme close-up as well. You can easily organize your photos in Lightroom, but I'm a visual person. I believe in printing your work, so I like to do it by hand instead. Now that you understand my process with photos, tiny scenes, and building those, we can talk about organizing the photos. Imagine this brown folder is a book. How would you like to arrange your photos? How would you like to direct the scene? Establishing a shot first? Or a close-up maybe first? You can do this from any editing software, but I'd rather organize it like this. Alright, so now we're here in Lightroom. We can see our library of photos right here in this section. If you go here to our collections, I created an album just for this photo book, so it's a lot easier to organize and it's not mixed with all the other photos. If you go to the Develop tab, we can go into all of our settings and change the exposure, the color balance, and actually edit the photo as well. We're not gonna cover this right here, but this is where pretty much all the magic happens in Lightroom. But once you've already decided and you have something you like, we can go into the book tab right here on the top right. And we'll see the very first thing we have to set up are the settings, the book settings. On the book option right here, we can select our type of book. You can do a PDF, you can do a JPEG, you can do a blurb photo. For this photo book, we're gonna do the standard landscape. In the cover section, you can do hardcover with image wrap, you can do hardcover with dust jacket, or you can do soft cover. On paper type, I'm gonna choose this one right here. On logo page, you can select if you wanna show the logo or not. Since this book is just for us, I'm not gonna bother in removing it because it does change the estimated price. But if you're selling this, and if it is for your website and for making money out of this book, I recommend you just remove the logo. And right here, we can see an estimate price of what we've done so far, and it updates in real time, so that's kind of nice. In the layout section, we can do auto layout, and that will auto populate the book with all of our photos in our library. You can select from a couple presets, or you can edit your own, and that way you can really customize it the way you want to, which is what I recommend. Once this window pops up, you can customize the layout of the book from the right and the left side, and you can save it as a preset. You can also choose the alignment of the photo and the text style preset, which is also pretty important as well. I like my white borders on my photo, so I always choose to fit and not to fill. That way you won't have a 1:1 square ratio photo filling the entire page as well. There's more information like page numbers and page categories, guides here as well, cell types. You can really customize your book the way you want to. In the general view, you have the front cover and the back cover highlighted in yellow. You can do a single image that wraps the front and the back of the book. If you leave it empty, it will be white by default. You can also do some light editing, put your text. I'm not getting too fancy, this is just a print test. But for the second iteration of the book, I will get a professional cover made. Once you're happy with it and you completed editing your book, you can go to the bottom right corner and send book to blurb. Once you click there, it will ask you to log in with your account and everything gets sent directly to them. So you don't have to worry about exporting photos or PDF file or right format so they can open it up and print it. Honestly, I am pleasantly surprised. I think this is a good balance between quality and value. The small prints look absolutely terrible compared to the book. I'm sure it's not as high quality as some of the professional prints out there for galleries and things like that, but I'm pretty happy with it. If you never printed a photo book and you're considering doing that, I definitely recommend you check out Blurb. And that's how I went from just having the idea, executing it, putting all the effort and time, editing and printing from the idea to a print. You can clearly see the tangible reward, the tangible effort of going out there, putting the time, putting the effort, putting the editing, putting the printing, and the money spent on that, so you can say, I have my prints here. This photo book is really not for anybody. It's made for me to be able to, in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, say, you know what, I did that. You know what, I went there. You know what, I lived those things. I ate those delicious foods. I met those people. A catalog or a library of your own experiences. And that's why I think photo books and prints actually have a lot more value than people think. It's not only the photo. It's not only be able to see a picture, is what it represents. So street photography for me, especially when you're traveling abroad, new languages, new countries, new sights, new smells, new everything, a photo book is actually a really good way to encompass all of that into a single unit where you can just flip through it and you can relive the past, really. That's what it is. And eventually, if you grow as a filmmaker or a photographer, you could potentially make some money out of that, but I'm not counting on it. I'm not thinking about that yet. I just want to do it for me. That's really the most important thing for me. These are my experiences. These are my photos. If somebody else likes them, that's awesome. If not, that's awesome. As simple as that. So, today we talked about the creative cycle, how you can take it an extra step by printing your photos in your books, and we set up your photo book in Lightroom. Thank you very much for your time and for watching, and good luck.